How do you predict the SPY stock market next move? Seriously, is it even really possible? I'm sure you've done it many times. You watched the price action day after day of the stock market and just said one night, you know what, it's probably gonna be down tomorrow. And guess what? And it was. Then you saw something else and you thought to yourself, well, the market's probably gonna be up tomorrow. And it was. And it was. Humans naturally notice patterns, and if you think noticing patterns within the stock market could help you make a little bit more money, well then this is the video for you. On this channel we like to follow the SPY, which represents the S&P 500, and we like to follow the patterns that give us a good idea how the market might open up or down. We like to take advantage of the market gaps. What we mean by the market gap is the difference from the close the night before and the open the next morning. It's rarely ever exactly the same. It doesn't open where it closed. There's usually a gap one direction or the other. And of course the thought is, if you can figure out which way the market's going to open right after or soon after it opens, you could probably, well, make some money. Well then, if you agree, then hit YouTube's fancy new subscribe button so you don't miss a future upload. If you talk to most traders, they'll probably tell you volume is an excellent indicator as to how the market might move next. And one of the things you can do is watch the volume of that day. And if it's a lot higher than it was the day before, you very well might want to consider continuing that trend into the next day. As you can see, if you have a big volume down day, you very well may have a down day the next day. And if you have a big volume up day, there's a really good chance you'll have an up day the next day. Take a look at the pattern, and you'll notice that tends to be true. However, you can't do it every single day. I'm sharing a number of options in this video because you may not want to depend on just one indicator. Sometimes you might want to use 2 or 3 indicators. I like 3 because then I can take the best 2 out of 3 to decide which direction I'm going to go the next day. I'll tell you how we do that in a few moments. Another indicator you might want to consider is the put to call ratio. If the ratio is 0.5 to 0.7, that's very bullish. If it's 0.7 or higher, that's bearish. I generally like to trade options to take advantage of that overnight gap. However, I like to protect myself. I don't just like to buy a call if my indicator says up or a put if my indicator says down. I want to protect myself just in case my indicator's wrong. And again, I'll share exactly how I do that in a few moments. There are many technical indicators out there, and you may have heard the phrase, the trend is your friend. Follow that trend. And if you're looking for an indicator that can help you with that trend, consider the ADX. Of course, other indicators you might want to consider are moving averages or money flow indicators, or possibly the MACD, which is probably the most used of them all. Once you start using indicators, get to know them well. Use 1, 2, or 3 and compare them, but keep using the same ones for a while. Don't keep switching back and forth. You need to know your indicators like you need to know the stocks that you're trading, the ETFs such as SPY, IWM, or QQQ. Another indicator that you can consider is the VIX, and it measures options, SPY options, about 30 days out. And it gives us an indication of volatility. And if volatility is going up, that's very bearish. If volatility is going down, well, that's bullish, and you can consider that when trading for the next day. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know I have my own indicator, and we post it over at spytomorrow.com for free at the close of the trading day. Now, some people want more information. They want to see the algorithms and all the data behind it. They want to know how confident and how strong that indication of up or down is. And hey, that's why they become members. But you don't have to do that. You can just watch at the end of the day and trade based on that up or down signal. Now, before you do anything, I recommend that you paper trade or test it in advance to make sure it's a good signal for your style of trading. Now, we use these signals for SPY T trading, which has 3 parts to it. First, it's an overnight swing trade to take advantage of that gap. and then we do a 2-to-1 ratio, meaning our calls are worth twice as much as our puts if our indicator says up. If our indicator says down, well then we buy twice as many puts to calls. And there are a few different ways to do that. We have SPY T A, B, C, D, and S. But you know what? You can go directional if you want to. It really depends on what your comfort level is and, of course, your risk tolerance. Of course, there's nothing wrong with considering news and economic data as part of your trading plan. If you know there's some big news the next morning and you have a good sense or have done a little research as to the direction things might go, well, certainly give it a shot, but I highly recommend you have those protective puts. Don't go all in one direction and take that gamble. Certainly lean the direction you think it's going to go, but don't risk everything on a hunch. Keep track of how well you and your indicator is doing on a piece of paper or a spreadsheet. Are you correct 60% of the time, 70%, 80% of the time? How well you're doing will help determine which type of trading strategy that you use. If you're right 80% of the time, directional just might be perfect for you. However, if you're only right 60% of the time, you might want to try a SPY TS trade. So can you really predict the market open tomorrow? Well, yes, you can, with enough testing, enough practice, and of course a little triangulation, and once in a while a little luck. You can actually take advantage of the morning gap and make money whether the market goes up or down. I'll see you in the next video.